Going live. What's going on?
Hey, what's going on, viewers? Now we're doing two things right now. We're on one of our phones doing YouTube, as well as going on Facebook Live as well, so that we can get a little bit more content out there. We're just starting the YouTube channel, so you're probably involved with there, but we would appreciate if you go onto it. It is actually on our page, on our Ben Facebook page. If you go there, subscribe. That way you can see our latest content, anything that we push out. I know we're doing something a little bit different, something that we've been planning on doing for a while, but now that we actually have some time to do it, we're going to dig deep into some of the jobs in the Army itself. Fortunately, we have some pretty good stuff. We have over 180 entry-level positions to talk about, so it's gonna be pretty dope. Obviously, if you have any questions, feel free to tune in. Ask those questions live so that we can answer them, or if you just simply comment, we'll try to get to it as quickly as possible. So this is prime time with Ryan. Prime time.
You know it's me, it's Rye Guy.
Yeah.
Of course, with Star Ethan, Mondo.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of.
Oh, you got a little surprise?
I do.
Don't leave me out. Oh, you forgot his Dwight bobblehead.
My Dwight bobblehead, my Mandalorian, right? So you can see that in Facebook.
Yeah.
But my little Mandalorian, man, oh man, it's a good day today.
It is, man.
We actually just got finished with something on YouTube. It was Getting to Know Us, Staff Sergeant Ryan edition. So if you guys want to go ahead to YouTube and check out that video, it's just uploaded. Get to know Ryan a little bit more about his job, about why he chose to join, some of the cool things, and tune in for some other content like that as well.
Yeah, or just kind of curious on our life experiences. We're posting his after this of his edition. So if you want to just get to know us and the co-host, we're going to have a lot more people coming on the show pretty soon with our recruiters, and I'm trying to get other branches to come on. So stay tuned in for that, just to hear their personal background. If you want to ask questions, see what their day-to-day life is. It's all going to be on the YouTube channel.
Yep.
We're kind of skipping, but might as well go into it now. Follow the YouTube channel. How you get there is youtube.com. You're going to search Ben Army Career Center. Be the first ones, okay? It'll be the Army symbol. We have links all over Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. If you have us on there, to just get you straight to there. But if you want a challenge, just go do it yourself. Subscribe, help us out. It's trying to show that we are making a difference by at least trying to reach out to the community with information, with questions or job information. And we're going to post a lot of fun stuff on there. We're getting more professional. We're getting mics and everything else going to be on here. It's going to get pretty fun.
Yeah, speaking of those mics, they were a little bit delayed. Obviously, some current events going on right now is sort of delaying the shipping process. So we will get those mics. They're in the mail. They should be here within the next 2 days, hopefully.
Yeah.
But that's why we're not using the mics now. But next time you join in, you'll see two bright red
fancy mics like some pros.
kind of set up here on the table, and you'll be able to hear us a lot more.
A lot better, yeah. Just gotta get those fancy headphones now.
Yeah, that's right. Just like the big, like the Astro A20s or something.
Yeah.
I mean, those are the cheaper ones, but like the A50s or something like that. Be really professional, you know?
Exactly. So to kind of get into it, man, we got a lot of stuff going on. The main topic, of course, as we posted, is 68 Fox. It's physical therapy specialist. We're gonna get to that. We have 2 people going out to basic training this week. Look, we're still working. I know there's a lot of stuff going on, but we're still making stuff happen. And if you want to make your dreams come true, it's still rolling. Just talk to us, let us know, hit us up, and we'll make things come true. Yeah. Okay, we don't play. I think it's the best thing. We haven't been doing it, but we are now. Again, we're back on it. We're following up with our word, Medal of Honor time. So, Mr. Mondo, hit it out.
Actually, you and I had a really good opportunity. He actually spoke at our graduation.
I got to meet him. Yep.
Yes. We got to see his actual medal that he received.
Yeah, he let the whole crowd just like pass it out.
Well, I mean, this was before everybody was sick, but right. But yeah, we got to see it. He got to speak to us, gave us some words of wisdom.
He's a cool guy. Exactly in the video, it's exactly his personality too, man.
Yeah,
there's no fake there.
Yeah, so he's actually kind of inspiring. Actually.
It is.
And really, it's one of those, you don't expect it to be inspiring, but he's inspiring regardless. He's just a normal guy. He didn't really expect to do any of this stuff. And his Medal of Honor citation kind of digs into that a little bit.
Yeah, his speech was amazing.
Speech was absolutely fantastic. But Staff Sergeant Bolivia, all right, that was his name. I'm going to read only the last sort of paragraph of his citation because that's really what it's about. Everything else describes exactly what he did for his entire citation. I highly recommend going on and looking at this, but it was really good. And it so the last paragraph, it reads, Acting on instinct to save the members of his platoon from an immediate threat, Staff Sergeant Bolivia ultimately cleared an entire enemy-filled house, destroyed 4 insurgents, and badly wounding a 5th. Staff Sergeant Bolivia bravely, completely disregarding his own safety, and unselfish and courageous actions are in keeping with the finest traditions in military service and reflect greatly upon himself and the United States Army. That is sort of like the Sparks notes of what he did. Obviously, he was able to save a lot of his unit from physical harm, and ultimately, basically led to the success of the mission that he was in. So it's really good. Happened on November 10th, 2004, while serving as a squad leader in support of Operation Phantom Fury in Fallujah. So some pretty good stuff. We'll post a link to actually where I found this information so that you can go check it out for yourself.
Yeah, it'll be in the description.
Yes. So go ahead and check that out. Read it at your convenience, but it's really good stuff, right? It's important to kind of look at the history of the Army from start to finish. Obviously, this is one of the more recent ones, but it's still pretty good stuff.
Oh, yeah. I mean, even just, we're going to have to post the link to his actual video getting the award.
Yeah.
His speech was amazing, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it was very inspiring. And he did the same thing when he came to our school, close to our graduation. So it's kind of cool to be able to see that happen. I don't know, I'm pretty glad I got to do it.
Yeah, same. Excuse me while I tune in. I'm going to make sure that I can get all of the comments on the video. Actually, you have it pulled up. So
Yeah,
I'm going to go with that.
Well, we'll just go straight into the topic here. We're not trying to do a long video, but what we're talking about is called 68 Fox. And what that is, it's our medical corps. It's physical therapy specialist. You're going to be assisting with that.
Well, we're jumping a little bit ahead because we say 68 Fox, and that's, what is like 68? What is 68 Fox actually?
Ooh, good question. You're right.
Now, we did say that it's physical therapist, but when we talk to people, we sort of like to explain everything. We call those MOS, which is military occupational specialties, which is the job that you'd be applying for. And this specific one is a very popular one. I actually did a lot of research on this recently. The physical therapy is like the 4th largest growing career field in the United States. It requires extensive amounts of college to actually get certified, but there's a huge need for it. Just being able to help people from injuries or prevent injuries and stuff like that, huge need for it. And that's sort of one of the reasons we're talking about it today, is because it's a very popular thing to for some people to come into our office looking for.
Yeah.
And so we're going to explain a little bit about the qualifications. I've got a link to an Excel spreadsheet that breaks down specific college credits that you can get regarding basically physical therapy as well. And we got some other stuff as well. So I know you got some information, I got some information, so we're going to talk about 68. All right?
68 Serious Medical Corps. So, like you said, it's a huge demand, okay? And we have a lot of people that are interested in this, and they're kind of like, well, the Army doesn't do that. Well, you do. We offer a lot of stuff, radiology, behavioral health specialists. So there's a lot of medical options within the Army.
Pharmacy,
Pharmacy tech is a huge one. We have a lot of people with PhDs applying for that a lot.
Veterinary, basically like animal food specialists. So they design meals to feed the service animals that we have, and just veterinaries in general, not just the food specialty, but yeah. So 68 Fields, rather large, one of the largest of all the branches. So it's really good stuff.
And how it works is to basically requirements, right? People are like, oh, do I have to have a college degree? Do I have to have associates? For some things, maybe. If you're trying to go to, like, let's say the officer side house, OCS, yeah, you need a bachelor's degree. But let's just say, you're coming out of high school, you want to do the stuff, you want to get the experience, you want to get the free college, you want to get that free education. You don't need that. Basically, what it consists of is you go to basic training for 10 weeks. Okay, that's standard across the board for everybody.
It's pretty fun too. You get to do a lot of camp. Well, they call them field training exercises. You get a lot of camping, right? So you go out to the field for a couple, well, at most, right, for like 2 or 3 days, and then you do a ruck march back. That's at the end of it. Up to that point, you're doing a lot of training involving that. So it's basically a culmination of all the skills that you learn. Yeah. It's not necessarily like survival training or anything like that. It's just basic field operation training.
Yeah. It's basic stuff.
One of the really cool things that you can do in basic training is fire the weapon systems that they have. So everybody qualifies on the M4, but you do get to shoot a lot more. Like
you get to throw some grenades.
Yeah. The dummy grenades were fun.
Yeah.
The actual frag grenades, well, they weren't frag grenades, were they? They were just well, the grenades that you throw are fun, right?
Yeah. For training.
They're training grenades, but you can also do a lot of other stuff. Like I was able to shoot the grenade launcher we have with paint rounds, so I was able to paint a cardboard building from quite a distance away, so that was pretty fun.
Yeah.
And then obviously just like the camaraderie and the friendship and fellowship that you have with the person right next to you builds lifelong bonds with those people. I know we talked briefly about it. What was it? Saturday when we did our live video, we kind of talked about.
It was Saturday, yeah.
Yeah, we talked about building those lifelong friendships, and that's something that stays with you. Like I know my bunkmate's name still to this day.
Mm-hmm.
I have him on Facebook. I still message him.
We actually have a viewer. His name's Sammy Hayes. He deployed with him. He's actually viewing in right now.
Oh, cool.
Talking about brotherhood, right? He's viewing right now.
And just everything that you do through basic training is absolutely fantastic. It's not. I mean, it was definitely stressful, just being in the environment that it was in. But we'll kind of break down basic training in probably a later segment if we haven't already. But getting on into like the.
Hold on now. You said our phones are not working. So I'm not sure what you mean, Frank. You mean you're not getting audio, or you've been trying to hit us up? I'm not sure. Kind of vague or a vague statement there. So if you can put in there, side note, what you're implying so we can correct it or comment on it.
Yeah.
But let's continue moving forward. If it's not working, again, we have YouTube. Check us out. I already said in the beginning, Bend Army Career Center. This video is also live on YouTube right now.
Mm-hmm.
So you have any questions, you can type on there or just re-watch it both ways. So basic training is pretty standard, like he explained. All that stuff's for everyone. It doesn't matter what job you choose. But the biggest thing to remember is if you don't choose that job, you're not doing this job. So if you choose to be a physical therapy specialist, that's your job you're doing, okay? Probably in the hospitals are shadowing a officer who's actually, that's their primary job, or even maybe at a unit level helping out. But your AIT is 28 weeks at Fort Sam Houston, which is in Texas. So you're going to go take a vacation in Texas for 28 weeks. And everything is college credit, okay? You comment again, let me see the phone number you have listed on Google. Okay, I'll fix that, Frank. So what Frank just said, so you know, the phone number that's on Google is wrong. So we'll fix that. Thank you. Hey, I appreciate that, Frank. Thank you for letting us know. On the page, though, you can have our numbers on there as well. And you can get it just from there and hit us up and let us know. But I appreciate letting us know that.
Thank you very much. Yes.
But yeah, so take a vacation to Texas, man. 28 weeks, and everything's college credits. That's transferable. So what you do in training and what you get certified as a physical therapy specialist, you can apply to getting your degree and furthering your career. It's free. You're getting paid to go to college, not you paying college. There's a difference. Okay, so you're getting these free credits, you're getting this free college, and you're getting the job experience of learning what it is day in, day out to do that position or that field. So those are just kind of your basic entry things. You go to basic training, 10 weeks, AIT 28 weeks, which is Army College Advanced Individual Training in Texas. What do you want to say about that?
So kind of breaking it down a little bit more, it is interesting to note that this is also an ACASP MOS. So if you have prior experience in the field, or if you have college getting you certificates and stuff like that, it will, you qualify for basically not having to go through AIT. So all the stuff that he was just talking about, you don't actually have to go through that. So if you already have experience and you're just trying to find a job specifically, basic training would still be required, but you wouldn't have to go to AIT. You would just go straight into your unit. So that's a little bit more on the ACASP. I know we talked briefly about it on a previous segment. But basically, the training path includes basic medical orientation in the form of Introduction to Basic Army Medicine. The acronym for that is IBAM, Introduction to Basic Army Medicine, prior to arrival to the MOS training. So obviously, like you said, that's transferable to college credits. They could specifically apply to that, or they could be sort of like an elective credit, like our basic training is an elective credit for like physical therapy, or like PE, physical education, as well as some other stuff that you can get as well.
Yeah.
And I know for a fact that physical therapy assistance clinical practicum, I'll have to change that, but that is the course name that you get basically 8 college credits for completing that training MOS, on top of the other stuff that you get.
And you weren't even in a classroom, but you get 8 credits off that.
You were getting paid. You were getting paid to live somewhere, to get food, a base pay, more than a living wage, honestly.
Getting the training.
Getting the training.
Job experience is huge.
Paid for that, and being able to actively do it, getting experience versus having to pay, for a 4 or 6 year college degree for the same training that you're going to get, and then trying to get experience or trying to find a job with that. I mean, this is basically a condensed version of all that. So that's why we have it. And I mean, for the Army itself, kind of breaking down the need for the Army itself.
Yeah.
One of the qualifications to join is physical, right? So you have to have a basic. It's basically like a sort of a sports physical. It's a little bit more in depth than that. There's a few other things that they add.
Just want to make sure you're healthy.
But you still do PT every morning. You go out, you can do ruck marches and stuff like that with your unit. You're just doing training, actively training. So some people, they might potentially get, injured or maybe even need some physical therapy because of that stuff. And so you're there to help assist them, right? We talked about the Army as a whole. The Army is completely self-sufficient. We technically don't need anybody else when it comes to us. We're designed to operate on our own.
Yeah.
Now, we do have the other branches as well, and we work closely with them to help aid. But if it comes down to it, we're basically designed to work on our own, completely self-sufficient, don't have to worry about outside help or anything like that. But that's what that's there for, is just adding that need, that necessity of having a physical therapist on hand.
Yeah, it's about taking care of your own. You know what I mean? Like, if a soldier who this is their life, this is their pride, their joy, they get hurt, that could be mentally, a devastating thing for them.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, man, I'm hurt. I'm not as good as I once was, or I'm getting older. So you're actually kind of like the front lines to help them, motivate them, get back to where they want to be or back in the fight. Because everyone gets hurt. You don't care who you are, everyone gets hurt.
You look at all the major athletes and stuff like that, and they've
football
got
players, baseball players.
They've got physical therapists on hand. They've got people who basically like massage therapists and stuff like that to help them recover after stuff. That's what we're trying to get to. That's why we have physical therapists.
No one's Superman out here.
No, no, by no means. So that's something that we offer to our guys as well, and it's a free service. It's obviously free for us. So I'm not a physical therapist, but if I need physical therapy, I just go to the doctor and he signs me up for it. It's pretty easy.
So let me read the description here of kind of the overview of what that position is. I know we went all over here. So what it is, the definition by book, okay, of a physical therapy specialist. You're following medical, basically referrals. You're doing supervising with administration, physical therapy to decrease physical disabilities, and promotes physical fitness to the patients, okay? The biggest thing is ensuring to not cause more injuries or worse in-depth injuries. What are you doing?
I had to read that.
Oh, I thought you were about to prank me, man.
No, I put it on because that's a little bit too far away for me to read, so I had to put these on for a little bit of clarity.
Oh, okay. I thought you messing with me now. But the biggest thing is you get the training, the work experience, and the college credits. So when you get out of the Army one day, whether it's 20, whether it's 3, you can go to your employer and say, look, I've already done this in a hospital. Here's my references. I've already been at this hospital. I already got this education. You're kind of more of a priority than, say, someone who just has a piece of paper, a degree, but has no job experience, has no referrals, nothing. It gives you that edge ahead. Plus, of course, we talked about it 1,000 times, veterans preference. You will always have that in your back pocket, in your toolbox, as I like to say. So
as an employer, I know a lot of people here, at least around here, because we've been working to get sort of some PAYS partners set up.
PAYS is huge. Can you explain what the PAYS is for them?
Well, yes, but let me talk about this first. So as we look for PAYS partners, when I've talked to some business owners in the local area, they often look for people with, like some of the moving companies and stuff.
Yep.
Army workers are very diligent workers. They have a great work ethic. They've been trained. So they're typically better at working. They're harder workers. They typically do the job better and quicker. And so that's what they're looking for. Now, our PAYS partnership, I know I've said it before, but I'll go ahead and say it again in case you haven't seen any of those other videos. We do have some comments if you want to check.
Oh, yeah. Keep going.
It's a partnership for youth success. Basically, we partner with a business. We're trying to get local businesses because we want to help build up the community here. It's basically free advertising for you. What it does is when you partner with us at the station, you ask for basically, hey, I want to interview soldiers, right? When they're done with their initial contract or after if they're Army Reserves, when they get back from Army Reserves, I want to sit down and interview them. And that way you have a steady stream of people coming in, you're interviewing them, typically of higher caliber, and basically just building your business, right, with professionals. So that's really what it comes down to. Partnership for youth success, helping build the community and businesses in the local area, as well as basically keeping people here, because the Army likes to move people away, obviously, because I've been to like I've lived in 3 states, I've been all over the world, all over the United States. But I do want to go back to my hometown eventually, just because I've got Arizona.
Arizona.
Yeah. But that being said, a lot of people, if they don't have anything to come back to, they won't. And so that's what we're trying to do, is help build up the local community. So if you're a business owner or a no business owner, go ahead and have them contact our station. We can start setting up something a little bit as far as that goes.
I mean, it's a system that guarantees, hey, you join the Army Reserves, we're going to guarantee you an interview. I know our station as a whole is working on getting that better, more relations, things like that. Just so that way, after your training, you have a dedicated interview for a job that you choose for success.
And it's not just one. You pick a couple different options.
Oh, of course, yeah. You pick multiple, but at least in the back of your mind, you're not as stressing hard because you know that you have something that you're going to come back to. You just got to be on your A game, which you will be, of course, after going through training. And the biggest thing is the Army is here to take care of you. Whatever happened in the past is in the past now. Who learns from their mistakes, that's the case. The biggest thing is to take care of their own rather than eat their own, as some people might say. So that's why we have physical therapy specialists. That's the prime reason. We take care of our own. We get them back to where they need to be and go troll on. You don't need to get depressed or sad because you ain't as good as you once was, or you're hurt or whatever the case is. That's fine. Do what you got to do and get better. And that's kind of how it is. I think it's a very, very important job. Plus, it's super beneficial when transitioning to civilian world to find a good job, whether you're married or not having married. So that's the biggest thing. Okay. I always say on these shows, you need tools in your toolbox.
Oh, yeah. You
got to have different tools in there. You can't just have one.
So when you talk about tools in your toolbox, that's sort of I hear it a lot in the maintenance world. You and I are basically from different portions of the maintenance world, and tools in the toolbox. I mean, kind of explain a little bit about that, because some people who view might not understand what tools in the toolbox mean. Now, that's not to say that you might not have heard it in a different way, because I normally talk about my tool belt. He says toolbox, so it's a little bit different. But what does that mean as far as like tools in your tool belt?
Towards like the metaphor or reality?
The metaphor.
So the metaphor means, if you have to fix something, whether it's fix a chair, you need different options. You need to have options in there to make you successful to end goal, build the chair, right? If you have just a Phillips, well, I need a flathead. Yeah. Well, you ain't got it in your toolbox, you ain't finishing your project, you ain't successful. So you got to have options. You got to have multiple things that you know how to do, that you've done, or you building your resume type of thing.
Different tools fit different scenarios too. So, trying to use a wrench as a hammer it might get the job. I mean, it might get the job done. I'm not going to say that I haven't done that before. No nails. Right? A hammer with a screw, I guess.
Yeah, with a screw.
You might be able to get it in there. It might not be pretty, but that's why we sort of tailor things around specifics, right?
Yeah.
So the tool is like, I need a Phillips. I have a Phillips. I need, a box wrench or, something like that. I have that. One of the biggest things too, I mean, just because it's been done like that for ages doesn't mean it's the best thing to do either. So sort of an analogy, kind of like relating it to my job. Our toolboxes that we had were good. They served our purpose, but they weren't the best tools. They weren't the best toolboxes. So we upgraded. We got all Snap-on tools. Now we had ratcheting wrenches.
Dang, for real?
Right, yeah. So we got ratcheting wrenches, and it made our jobs easier.
Aviation.
Just because it's been done, a certain way for, forever doesn't mean it was always the best or the quickest way to do it.
Well, that's why we do it here.
Yeah, and so that's why when we talk about tools in the toolboxes, we're just adding things to make it easier, to make you more effective, to make you more successful.
Yeah. Really, the toolbox is your resume.
Yep.
That's probably the simplest way to go down.
Exactly.
You want that resume filled with a lot of certifications, degrees, experience, references. Hey, it's your toolbox. Let's fill it up. We are here to fill that up. Okay?
Yep.
We sit down, we give you 3 paths like we talked about. Our active reserves on what you're currently doing. Which one of those paths is going to get you to your goal? And that's our job, to help you identify that. And then you can finally take some time, talk to your family. We'll talk to your family if they want to talk. Make the decision that's right for you. And that's all that is. My dad once told me, just get your foot in the door. That's some good advice. Hey, if you're the type that's struggling, get your foot in the door, because then the possibilities will open up more as you work and build to become better.
Yeah.
Get your foot in the door. Okay?
Yeah, that goes along with, so what we previously did prior to this is we did an introduction video to about you.
About me. Yep.
Staff Sergeant Ryan.
You're next.
I'm going to be next.
You're going to be next.
And so we were talking about it a little bit. I don't really know how to word this. This is kind of weird.
I'm intrigued.
Well, you had my curiosity. Now you have my gosh, I literally just drew a blank. I was talking, I knew exactly what I wanted to talk about, and then I lost it. It'll come back to me. All right. What were we talking about? No, I'm joking. But yeah, it's really just building yourself up, becoming better. Oh, I did want to say something. Managing expectations, right? Managing your goals. You know, you have your short-term and long-term goals. Your short-term goals are designed to meet your long-term goals. And so I word it a little bit differently. I normally tell people when I talk to them, you're supposed to have goals that are attainable and reachable, short and long-term goals. 1 second. My daughter's knocking on the door, so I'm going to let her in real quick. Yes, Evelyn?
I need you, Dad.
Okay, I'll be right now. Love you.
Love you.
Okay. So working from home, these are not
Mommy
necessary.
made me pancakes.
You got pancakes?
Yeah.
High five. All right, love you.
Love you.
The struggles of working up from home. I will say that as much as I love being at home, I don't like working at home.
I don't either.
Because it's like not distractions. You don't want them to be distractions. And you can still hear her knocking on the door. But things like this, right? I have to work and it distracts me from wanting to be with my family.
Yeah.
So your long-term goal is meant to be not attainable at that moment. All right? It's not meant to be like, okay, well, I want to get a certificate in welding. Well, that's something that you can really go for right now at this moment. Or your long-term goal could be, I want to own a welding shop. That's your long-term goal. What are your steps to take that, to get you to that goal? And it's like, I need my welding certificate, this, that, and the other. So it's like that one unattainable goal at the time. Can hear her knocking on the door. Yes, Evelyn, come here. Come here, you're gonna sit up here.
Mommy takes me around a burger and I don't like it.
Yeah, I know. So you have that one unattainable goal at the time, right? And then make small steps and strides to get you to that goal. That's really what it's all about. And that's what the toolbox is for. You continuously add to your toolbox. It's not like you get the most expensive toolbox. You're not going to know what to do with all those tools at first. So you have to learn how to use those tools. That's what it is. That's the resume that we're talking about.
Well, I don't really have anything else to say. We're looking at also the questions. Do you have any? You want to say any closing comments?
No. Other than if you guys have anything, obviously I'm looking at comments on YouTube right now. I don't see anything popping up right now. We don't have any questions coming through on here. I know we're doing this live, so if you guys do have questions, go ahead and pop them in now. If not, go ahead and comment after this video is released, and then we'll get to it as soon as we can.
Yeah, I appreciate y'all tuning in. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Help us out. We'll be going live every day at 1. So thank y'all. It's been great. I ain't got no more to say. I'm turning it off.